Giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Oh, yeah. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by the Cochran Firm in Boston Scientific, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook. I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. How does it feel waking up 2-1? I mean, a lot of us predicted that, although I want you to call in and be. Cowboys 2-1 after the victory on Monday Night Football, beating the New York Football Giants. We will talk about the standouts from that game, of course. You know what that means, right? When the Cowboys get a win, we're going to talk about the standouts. We got to have a cookout, man. So what y'all bringing to the cookout? Come on, pull up. I don't know if you got paper plates, but we need more than that. We need more than Doritos. I need some of that good soul food, that good barbecue cooking. Make sure y'all bring something nice because we are definitely having a cookout today, this morning. I don't care if it's in the morning. Pull up or whatever you need. We're going to have a good time today. So make sure y'all get in where you can fit in, because here's what we're going to do. We're going to get the roundup, right? We're going to come out. We're going to hit the cookout, right? And then we're going to get to the phone lines, 351-999-3787. This is the raw reactions, the morning after reactions to the victory as the Cowboys improve to 2-1. We're going to talk about everything we could talk about before we dive into other things later on in the week. It's a Victory Tuesday instead of a Victory Monday. Shout out to the Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad!
How y'all doing this morning, man? How's everything feeling after you win? Now you're up 2-1. We won 2 in a row. You're moving forward. A lot of people deserve credit for this victory. But before we get into the actual players and before we get into some coaches too, I want to take this time right here, this time right now, to give some credit to our guy Mike McCarthy. Right? He needs some flowers right now. Old Freaky Mike is what Jesse Holly would call him. He happens to do something that the previous regime did not do, and that's win without their starters. And we're talking about a decade's worth, really, of evidence prior to Mike McCarthy coming in here, right? 7 wins now without Dak at the quarterback position between 2020 and now. And that's not even to count the wins that they won without a Tyron Smith, or at one point it was, hey, if Sean Lee went down, he never won because the defense would get gashed. But his entire tenure here, he's been missing starters, it seems like, for long periods of time. I mean, think about it for a second. It hasn't been easy for Mike McCarthy. COVID year in 2020. All right, then he loses his quarterback, but ends up winning 4 games in 2020. The next year, loses a bunch of players and still loses his quarterback for a game, but nonetheless dealt with a whole bunch of injuries. He gets COVID himself. By the way, the team did go out and win. Finished at 12-5 as a head coach, but he loses in the wild card round in a heartbreaking fashion. And all offseason, Mike McCarthy had to hear the noise. He just kept his head down, kept going to work. But if you notice, he didn't back down, though, in that offseason, and I appreciate that from Mike McCarthy. Enter 2022, his seat is burning hot, clearly, from the front office, from fans, everywhere. Media, whatever you want to call it. His seat is on fire, but he just stayed steady. Just stayed steady. Had that coach breathing down on his neck, right? Had that coach breathing down on his neck. Loses the opener and loses his quarterback, and the offense just looks out of order. What does Mike McCarthy do? He sits down with Kellen Moore, and he says, we got to tighten up this play sheet. He publicly but respectfully calls him out to be smarter and to take a deeper dive into what we're doing here. Mike McCarthy defending himself in the offseason. Mike McCarthy pushing back a little bit during the season before things get out of hand. What happens next? Dallas gets back to their balanced ways. I don't think we've seen a trick play since week 1. And now they've won back-to-back games with the backup quarterback while facing adversity in both of those games. Like, let's not forget that. There was adversity in the Bengals game, and there was adversity in this Giants game. While this one didn't feel like it was going to slip away, last week it felt that way as they were kind of marching back to tie that ball game. But we have to give our hats off to Mike McCarthy rallying these troops. I know a lot of us in this Cowboys nation, we really don't. What do you do, Mike? We don't know what you do. Well, I do know one thing that he does, and that's try to build a culture here. He's not perfect, right? But I do think he brings something different than the previous regime, and I think it's dealing with the adversity a lot better on a consistent basis than previously before. So shout out to Mike McCarthy. Drop some fire emojis in the chat for one Mike McCarthy. I'm going to drop a clue bomb for Mike, man. Shout out to Mike. I see you on the horn here, 215. Just hold tight. Hold tight. Where we at here? Oh, no, not yet. We don't want the cookout yet. We don't want the cookout yet. We got to get rid of Freaky Mike. There we go. All right, here we go, y'all. Let's hit this roundup. Let's come out and let's talk about this thing.
It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time. It's time.
It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Hey. Yo. Hey, Dak. Dak talked to some reporters, I guess, before the game. That's my take. Before the game. And not yet before the game, right after the game. And he said, hey, man, I'm throwing the ball around. He was out there throwing it around in warm-ups. Got the stitches removed and told reporters he's targeting week 5 in the return, but won't rule out week 4. I think that's a bit of gamesmanship right there, man. There's just no need to rush back next week, and you just got your stitches removed. There's not. I've always felt like week 5 was the given return date since they didn't put him on IR, and that would be the 4th game missed week 5. So then it would have been pointless to not put him on IR. But with the way Cooper Rush has been driving this bus, oh man, drop some bars. I don't think you need to rush this thing back. So take this week off. I know it's gamesmanship. You don't really want to tell the opposing team what you're going to do, but we all know Jerry's going to go on the radio, and he's probably going to tell the opposing team what we're going to do.
Get your damn act together.
That's just what he does. Mike McCarthy's going to be asked about it, and he's going to say, oh, yeah, we're going to figure these things out. We're going to keep going. We're going to practice. You know, he's going to get out there, see what he can do, and we're going to get to game day, and he's going to be inactive. That's just how I'm looking at it. Look for Dak Prescott to return in week 5. I don't think it'll be next week. CeeDee Lamb. I'm pretty sure CeeDee Lamb had a lot of us yesterday in that first half throwing stuff around, not literally, but figuratively. Some people might have been breaking TVs. I ain't never going to be that type. But some people were extremely upset, including me. The first half was just not great for CeeDee Lamb. And Mike McCarthy talked about in the press conference, he said the plan was to get CD involved. They clearly did that. He had 12 targets. Probably half of those targets came in the first half. It was a rough one. You know, he dropped that ball. We'll talk about it a little bit more. And then he dropped another one that could have got the Cowboys in field goal range. I think the very next possession. It was bad. He was on the sideline upset, and he had teammates coming over to get him back together. And that's what he did. He pulled himself back together, came out in the second half, pulled up with some clutch plays, including a touchdown grab, including the 4th down play right before it. And I think CeeDee Lamb really needed that. Because I said this at halftime. I said, man, mentally, he just doesn't seem to be there. Physically, he has the tools to be that dude. Clearly, he showed you some of that. But mentally, he just seemed to be in his own head. When CD gets out of his own head, he'll be fine. And he ended up doing that. And he had about, 80-some yards yesterday on 8 targets and a touchdown. Really, the clutch touchdown to basically win the game. So shout out for CeeDee Lamb for bouncing back here. And then Trayvon Diggs gets on the board after not getting on the board 2 other times in the game. He dropped 2 picks, man. And I wasn't mad at Trayvon Diggs. Like, he was playing well in coverage, but that's unlike Trayvon Diggs. And Daniel Jones was begging to give the Cowboys the ball. He was begging. He's like, here, take it, Diggs. A missile across the middle, he dropped one. And then on the sideline out to Sterling Shepard, it literally went right through his hands, which he's a former wide receiver. That was a surprise. A normal cornerback, I'd be like, whatever. But Trayvon Diggs catches those. Eventually, though, end of the game, I know the wide receiver fell, but, I mean, that's still not an easy catch. I thought the ball was incomplete. Diggs gets his hand under the ball, completes the catch. Ball game, Cowboys win. Diggs gets on the board for his first interception of the season. I don't know what his PFF grades and all that stuff is. I don't know what it is. But we're in week 3. And Cowboys have given up 3 touchdowns. That's 4. 3 touchdowns in 3 weeks, which is tied for first in the NFL. Don't recall Trayvon Diggs giving up a bunch of plays. But I'm sure his PFF grade is 39 or something stupid. I don't care about that PFF stuff. Trayvon Diggs has done his job this year, in my opinion. The reason why your defense is playing the way it is because of the pass rush. But if you don't have a guy in the back end that can handle his own as well, you get beat over the top. And Diggs has played well. So shout out to Trayvon Diggs, who didn't make the cookout, but maybe we'll pass out some plates later on in the week. But he didn't make the cookout. So there's that. All right, we got a couple people coming through in the chat. So this is what we're going to do. Because I know how we get, I'm sorry, not in the chat, in the phone. I know how we get on the phone, all right? We usually talk about everything on the phone. So I'm going to hit the cookout first, Cowboys Nation. I'm going to hit the cookout first. Let's do this thing. Man, I wish I could let that play. I'd have been in here 2-stepping, electric sliding. Who was invited to the grown folk table? How do you not start with, I mean, you could start with D-Law, but we'll get to D-Law. Cooper Rush. The numbers may not show it, but I think this was Cooper Rush's best showing ever in a Dallas uniform. I don't care if it's preseason. I don't care if it's camp. I don't care what it is. This was a great showing. And you're only going to see 215 yards and 1 touchdown. But please do not let that fool you. Cooper Rush played much better than that. He was sharp all night. Should have been closer to 300 in my opinion. And maybe even another touchdown because CeeDee Lamb, I think he scores on that touchdown. I thought he flowed well with the play calling too. Stayed within himself. Him, Kellen, and Tyler Biadasz, Coach McCarthy pointed this out, seemed to be clicking in regards to identifying things pre-snap and just having it dialed up, which we'll talk about Kellen more as well in the show. Just a fantastic, I mean, one of his better games I've ever seen him call. But Cooper Rush deserves to be at the grown folk table, and that's why he got the chain on with the money sign. You know what I'm saying? He at the head of the table today. So shouts out to Cooper Rush, who put together a very, very sharp performance. And if he hasn't gained your trust yet, he's gained mine. That's a fact. He's gained my trust to be able to hold this fort down, if not more, moving forward. So welcome to the grown folk table again. We put him there last week. Cooper Rush. DeMarcus Lawrence. It was only a matter of time until DeMarcus Lawrence got on board, right? In regards to the pass rush. And this week with Micah Parsons playing a lot at linebacker, we saw Micah play linebacker a lot this week. And that's what we asked for, right? We wanted him to play more linebacker. It was D-Law who got the assignment on rookie right tackle Evan Neal. and flat out whooped on him. You hear me? Whooped on him. 6 tackles for the night, 3 sacks. Could have been more, but he got dinged up. And he now has 10 tackles on the season with 10 stops. All right. And on the last note for D-Law, if you go back and look at the touchdown run by Saquon Barkley, which, man, if you looked at our keys to victory, it was just don't let him score. He's going to break one out, but don't let him score. And he scored. But D-Law was not in there. This very similar to week 1 when Leonard Fournette was getting off. They wasn't running the D-Law side. D-Law wasn't in the game. Just saying. I know he might not get the sack leader. He might not be the sack leader this year. But D-Law is an extremely important player to this defense. And as long as he stays healthy with 11 out there, we're going to give opposing teams hell defensively. Absolute hell. Flip back over to the offensive side, man. I got Zeke and TP. I'm going to put these boys together, man. I'm going to put these boys together because they belong. They belong on the field together. I mean, almost a perfect split between those two. 64 snaps, or 64% of the snaps from Zeke, 44% from Tony Pollard. And they were effective all over the field. I know Pollard gets a lot of slack because they say he can't run between tackles. It's back-to-back games now. He's proven that wrong. He's had a ton of good carries between the tackles. 105 yards on 13 carries. Zeke, 73 yards on 15 carries and a Zeke-like touchdown. It might not. I know a lot of people want Zeke to get 25, 30 carries or what have you. I don't necessarily think that needs to happen. I don't know if it was on the show on yesterday morning or if it was on the pregame show. I'm okay with the split of TP getting 13 carries and Zeke getting 17, 18 carries. The target number per Mike McCarthy is to get 30 carries. They got 28, and they rushed for 78 yards combined. If you do that, we know the numbers, right? We know the numbers for the Dallas Cowboys. They usually win ball games. And not only, again, were they productive in the interior, they were productive on the edges, and I would love to see Kellen continue to do it. Kellen is another dude that we got to talk about, and we will. I'm pretty sure. We got callers in the chat. There's a lot of things to get at, but it's the grown folk table. And while Kellen ain't invited to the grown folk table just quite yet, should we invite him on a walk? Should we invite him? I don't even know if did y'all see Kellen mouth his frustrations yesterday when they didn't call that hold on Noah Brown? Kellen was like, "Come on, man, what the heck?" We can't invite Kellen on a walk, man. Kellen might mess around and call the police. Nah, but Kellen, we can give him a plate. We can give him a plate. Now Noah Brown, we can invite to the walk. Tell Noah to pull up. So I got Noah on the walk. Man, I so badly want to invite Tyler Smith, but Cowboys Nation, Tyler Smith don't seem the type that really care for the walk. You know what I mean? Like, excuse my language. Tyler don't want to walk, but you know who do? Jason Peters. Oh, bring Jason Peters coming on the auto walk. I don't care if he even want to partake in what we do here. But that's Debo walking down. Did you see what Jason Peters did? Jason Peters, after the game, went into the scrum. I guess it was a fight or something like that. Strapped up his helmet. I'm telling you, he told Tyler Smith, "Hey, young fella, put that thing on." Made Tyler Smith strap up his helmet and was ready for the smoke. I just love having Jason Peters around, man. I knew he was going to have this type of mentality. Now, he did play 14 snaps, and I can't wait to watch the film today just in general. There were so many good play calls I hope we go back to, and I hope we use some actions off of from that game. But I want to see Jason's 14 snaps. We all know the snap that got Tony Pollard broke away for 46 yards. Jason Peters gets upfield a bit. That linebacker dives back into the B gap, and Jason Peters just walls him off and falls on him. I know his ribs got to be hurting. Tyler Smith, I think he pulled or he just kind of went out, and he sealed off the edge, and boom, Tony Pollard shoots up the middle or right off of Jason Peters for 46 yards. I like having those two over there. I wanted it to be flipped, but I will reserve judgment till I go see the tape. But I mean, I don't recall too much pressure. At all in general, really, from the Giants. So, and there was running lanes. But again, when I'm watching as a fan, and I'm gonna be honest with you, that was the only play it was a pass play. I also vividly remember Jason Peters in. But I'm just so dialed in as a fan. I didn't even realize who was at left guard for most of the damn time. I'm just dialed in play by play. So I got to go back and watch the tape. But I would imagine for those out there, he had to play. He had to play fine. I mean, look at the rushing yards. Look at the pressures. They didn't even sack Cooper Rush. They barely even touched him. On that play where it was a play action, I don't know what their call was, bro. I don't know what they were thinking. Nobody rushed Cooper Rush, and he could have played dominoes back there. CeeDee Lamb gets wide open, and CeeDee Lamb drops the ball. Can't drop the ball, CD. You cannot drop the ball, CD. But man, just so many good things to come out of this game. Not only the victory, but just individual players, and that's just 4 or 5 of them I talked about at the cookout. There's so many more we're going to dive into throughout the week, and it'll be a bit of a longer week talking about this game because we played on Monday. So we'll talk about it today. We'll dive into the film Tuesday or Wednesday. See, I'm already messed up. On Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, we'll start talking about the Washington football people. But rejoice, Cowboys Nation. Dallas gets the dub 23-16, and they improve to 2-1. All right. Enough of me talking. Let's jump into these phone lines. Pulse of the Nation phone lines presented by the Cochran Firm. Since 2005, our guys Brian and Larry Pope have been fighting for the Cochran Firm for the Dallas-Fort Worth area community. Not just the Cochran Firm. They handle the most challenging civil cases, and their civil cases are handled on a contingent fee basis. If there is no financial recovery, then they charge no fee. So if you do have questions or you do need legal advice or you need legal assistance, hit up the Cochran Firm if you're in the DFW area or Houston at 1-800-THE-FIRM or schedule your free consultation today at CochranTexas.com. All right, we had 215. Man, you was in here before I even opened up this thing. Which Glenn is
What's up,
this?
Nephew? This is Glenn from Philly, my man.
There it is, 215. Yeah, I'm tripping. There's so many Glens, bro. I be forgetting how many Glens it is, man. But how you doing, man? How you feeling this morning after this victory, this Monday night victory?
Hey, Scott, stop drawing on 215. Stop drawing, man.
They keep bringing it back. They don't know what you're talking about, man. What you talking about?
Hey, I'm feeling good. This is a happy Tuesday morning.
100%.
I'm glad I'm able to get to talk to you. Excellent game. Dan Quinn gets the game ball along with D-Law. They got to get the game ball. Dan Quinn, excellent game plan. I would like to come back to Dan Quinn at the end of this conversation because I want to bring up something from last week.
Let me put it down.
But keep it moving. I called a couple of plays last night, not trying to be Nostradamus, but I did call the tight end. It's in D-Laws. A couple of people was agreeing with me. Weren't using the tight end. We finally used the tight end on that drive when he snuck out. I kept texting, sneak the tight end out. They finally got the tight end out. But I was texting all night. CD, you owe us. So on that last drive, I said we're going to use some clock, and we're going to hit CD for a 30-yard TD. We used clock. He got a 26-yard pass or 28, and then he took it in from the 1. So it was almost like a 30-yard TD.
Before you move on from that play, that is when it was happening. I said, "Oh, orbit motion by Tony Pollard coming back, and he's going out for a route." I said, Jesse, somebody gonna be open. This happened a little bit against I think it was the Eagles last year at home early in the season, and boom, CeeDee Lamb wide open. I can't wait to go revisit that play. That might be one of my favorite play calls from Kellen Moore that I've seen in his entire 3 years here in Dallas. We hadn't seen that this year yet.
I agree. That was beautiful. Kellen, he stepped up on that one. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. I love what we saw from the backs and running backs. It just was a good game all over. You know, that third and one, I was cussing the TV out. I'm like, why you being cute?
Yeah,
we could have closed that game out. We could have closed the game out on that drive.
Yeah, that's the one
Why?
thing that if you had to nitpick, right? Like that's the one call. Like you got to Kellen gonna have a head scratcher, once or twice a game and make you say, "Come on, man, what you doing? You're running the ball amazingly and you try to throw it there." But if it's just one, I'll live with it, man.
Yeah, I live with it. Now, before I let you go, I want to address what I brought up last week. People was clowning me, thought I was crazy.
Was it Dan Quinn?
Back to the Micah Parsons and Dan Quinn. You disagree with me. I believe
what was
saw
it?
last night.
What was it? What did I disagree with you before you go on?
It was the fact that you don't have to send Micah on every play. Rest him a little during the game. You can rest him on the field. You don't have to send him on every play.
No. I don't disagree with that, brother. I don't know if you watched the show, but I said Micah Parsons is going to have to play some middle linebacker this week against the Giants because of Saquon Barkley. And then when it comes to third down, you need to rush him. There's no putting Micah on the bench or letting him play linebacker, rush him. But all week we talked about Micah Parsons playing linebacker.
Okay, well I didn't watch. I couldn't catch you guys this week, but I'm going back to the first game of the season, and Quinn proved that he can send pressure, he can confuse the offense without sending Micah on every third down. I just would like to see on some third downs you outfox.
You're breaking up. Say again.
For that, so if we face Brady again in the playoffs or someone like a Rodgers, I just would love for us to send Micah throughout the game here and there, but on that third down when you know it's a slant, Micah rush it and have him drop back in that slant area. It's a pick. I'm telling you, Scott. Watt from Pittsburgh does it very often. It's a pick.
Okay.
You got to outfox the fox.
Third down for the game, you want Micah Parsons dropping.
Not for the game, throughout the game in the third quarter. In the third quarter on a good drive, they get their 40.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe he's dropped in coverage before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not. This isn't some revelation.
Just saying, if you go back to that Tampa game, and then him all game, and he was gassed. This is the first game of the season. His win is not up. He just was sending. I was saying throughout the game, just drop him back a little bit. It goes to show you at the last two plays, he had no win. They scored a touchdown on the pass and the 2-point conversion because he had nothing left. All I'm saying is throughout a game like that, you can rest him on the field, not on the bench.
No. I hate that. Don't do that. I got into it with somebody else. You don't rest. There's no resting on the field.
Not literally rest.
Listen, brother.
You know what I mean.
I don't know why you're hammering this home. Micah Parsons needs to be coming forward on third downs. If you want to trick a guy once or twice in a game, that's fine. He's done that throughout his first year and some change in Dallas. This is nothing new. But Dallas did that with Donovan Wilson in week 1. They crowded the line of scrimmage, and instead of Donovan, he sugared the A-gaps. Instead of Donovan Wilson coming, he fell back in the slant lane, and guess what he got? An interception. You know what I'm saying? So, okay. I mean, if you want to drop back Micah 1 or 2 times, that's not going to save Micah Parsons from being, he's tired. Now he's not tired because he dropped back once. I think we're just reaching here to be right. But on third downs, I don't think anybody would say, hey, drop Micah Parsons. I'm never doing that. I'm sorry. Unless I don't even know what unless. I'm just saying. I'm sending Micah. I mean, if it's 3rd and 2 or something and you want to sugar and then drop back, sure. But, man, I mean, you're taking him away from what he does best, man.
All right. I'm just saying, a quick release like Brady, Mike is not going to get to him anyway.
Oh, you're
might
right.
have a better chance at the end of the
He's not going to get to him, but he got to him twice, man. Appreciate the call, good brother.
All right, Scott. Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. Let's get my guy Mel on the horn. What's up with you, Mel?
King Sky, what it do, dog?
What's good, man?
Man, great game yesterday, man. Great game from D-Law. And I don't know if you invited him to the cookout, man, but Dorrance Armstrong, bro.
He gonna get another plate probably, but we will save that for the latter, man. He'll probably get a plate. But how do I take off? Who do I take off? Rush had a very sharp game. D-Law had 3 sacks. TP and Zeke pretty much controlled that game. I guess I could have added him there. But we know we're going to go back. We're going to watch, and he'll probably get a plate. He got a plate last week. You know what I mean?
Block field goal, 2 sacks. I think one of them might have got called back.
He got 1 sack on the stat sheet. But I was so hoping he got that other one so I could be like, Dorrance Armstrong is on pace for 20-plus sacks, but I didn't get a chance to do that.
Yeah. Hey, you know what, man? I've been wanting to tell you about that forever. When he said he's on pace for 30 sacks, and Jesse says, "Man, you tripping?" You go, "Well, tell me how he doesn't get it." Like you was dead set serious.
Dead serious,
I don't
bro.
see how he doesn't get the 30 sacks.
Bro, if he didn't have what he had, which I'm not at liberty to say, I still think he would have. I think he would have got home, bro. As many times as Daniel Jones was running around out there, and as many times as Micah Parsons had to come off the field because of the situation, he was not playing 100%. He said I was at 60%, which is ridiculous. I almost put him at the cookout just because of what he did at 60%. But if he's not ailing from anything physically, man, Micah getting home every game, bro. Every game.
Yeah, definitely for sure, man, for sure.
You, man.
CeeDee Lamb, man, I know you're probably tempted to maybe invite him to the cookout, but I still think CeeDee. He said I wasn't.
No, I wasn't, because it was he had a good second half, but the first half was so bad. The guys that I have on there played well throughout the game, and I wanted to be fair to those guys.
I totally agree with you. Man, but CeeDee, man, I love the way he bounced back. I still think that CeeDee is a very, very good NFL-level receiver, man. I think people get too caught up in wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, and all of those things.
The conference has been locked.
Sorry for you, man. Wherever that puts him, it puts him. But I think CeeDee can still be a go-to wide receiver. He just has to get the mental part of the game. He just has to get the mental part of the game down. Once he does that, man, I think we looking at a guy we can definitely go to, man. Go ahead.
No, that's all it's really been about with CeeDee. How many times have we said, man, he's got the talent. You know what I'm saying? He can physically do everything you want your one wide receiver to do. It's just the mental game. How is he going to adjust mentally to being that guy, to having that pressure? And the first few weeks, you can see it weighing on him in his game. And then the first 2 weeks and 2 quarters, you saw it weighing on him in his game. He so desperately needed that second half, and I'm hoping that carries over moving forward, because he obviously can be a 10-plus target a game guy. Easy.
Yes, sir. But, man, my last one is Kellen Moore, man. The thing I love about you, Sky, that I really do admire, it's a lot of guys out here, they care whether they're right or wrong.
I don't care about this.
And when they're wrong no, man, for real, it's a lot of these guys, they really care whether they're right or wrong. And even when they're wrong, they don't want to say they're wrong, or they try to skew it to where they wasn't wrong or whatever. You don't care, bro. You don't care. If you was like, hey, I don't believe in Kellen Moore, but Kellen Moore go out there and do a great job, you're going to come on here and say, Kellen did a great job yesterday. You're not going to try to misinform the viewers or anything like that, bro. If you saying, hey, I don't believe that Jason Peters should be at guard and we should move him to tackle and move such and such inside, if what they do works, you're going to come on and you're going to say, hey, that worked.
It worked.
That worked. You're not going to come on here and lie and try to skew it to make it look like, they was wrong and you was right and none of that, bro. I really do admire that about you, man. And so on that topic, Kellen Moore, bro, he did a good job yesterday calling the game. The balance was there. The mix between Zeke and Pollard was there. the type of throws was there. No double reverse inside the 10-yard line and none of that, man. I thought he did a really, really solid job. I hope he calls the games like that going forward, bro.
When's the last time we've seen a trick play? Week 1.
Week one.
I mean, I can't wait to go watch it. But there were so many different plays. I kept looking over and was like, oh man, that was a nice play. Getting Tony Pollard on the edge in different ways. The play. I mean, I don't know how many play actions he had, but I felt like there were more play actions in this game than previously. He stuck to one of the things that we were concerned about. Will he stick with the run? Right? He stuck with the run. He's been so balanced these last 2 games, and you have to. Now I'm gonna give Kellen credit because he's out there calling that too. But the reason why I gave Mike McCarthy credit, because I think personally, now I don't have any inside information on this, but when Mike McCarthy calls him out publicly, I also think inside that building, he sat Kellen Moore down and said, hey, man, listen, I understand, you want to be Wiz Kid. I understand you want to do all these things, but you can be creative while also being simple. Keep it simple, stupid, creatively. And I thought he did that. And once I go back and look at the tape, I'm pretty sure I'm going to come away with at least 6 plays where I'm like, that was cool. That was nice. Go back to that. You can use action off of it and build on top of it. I just hope nobody from up top comes down and says, oh, no. We got to get back to cowboy football, I formation, run up the A-gap type of shit. I'm not saying that happened last year, but there was rumors about that. So I hope they just let Mike McCarthy continue to help mold this kid, if that's what's happening.
Man. But thanks. I appreciate you letting me on, Sky, man.
Yeah.
Cowboy Nation, celebrate the win. Enjoy it. Yes, it was just the Giants, but it doesn't matter. They all count towards the one win, right? So enjoy the win, celebrate it, and on to Washington, brother. Thank you.
Yes, sir. It absolutely does not matter, especially when your backup is – oh, crap, let me do that. Your backup is in there. You got to take these victories, right? And I said this when we did the cookout and shouted out Cooper Rush. It flowed so well together. It flowed so well. And one of the things that we've all given Kellen Moore credit for is being able to dial it up against man coverage. And Wink is a stubborn mup, right? Like Wink is not going to come out of what he does, and he didn't. He didn't, but it felt like every time he tried something, there was an answer to it, right? And Cooper Rush, 21 for 31, 215, a touchdown. Should have been more than that. QBR of 68, rating of 98. Would have been more than that if dudes catch the rock. But you saw him be patient when he needed to be patient. You saw him be quick when he needed to be quick. And all week we were talking about how Wink is going to do this and do that. But if you can block it up, and if they know, if you read it correctly, right, pre-snap or even post, where it's coming from, there's going to be opportunities. You just got to be able to get to it. And boy, they could not. I mean, no sacks, right? No sacks on Cooper Rush. I don't know how many pressures it was. We'll get to those numbers later on in the week. But kudos to this offensive line too, right? Like so many players that you could talk. Tyler Smith, you know what I mean? Tyler Biotish. Terrence, my cousin, Steele. Something like 3 pressures allowed on the entire season. I wasn't really too concerned about him after week 1. It was just penalties when the game was fine. And now he's just continued to get better. Kudos to this offensive line. Everybody is raising their level of play, including the coaches, right? I just love to see it, man. Keep this up. We got Shavance. I haven't heard from Shavance in a good minute, man. What's up, Shavance? How you feeling on this beautiful Victory Tuesday?
I'm feeling great on this Victory Tuesday. Definitely a lot better than I did after week 1. That's for sure.
Oh boy, we was all feeling it week 1.
You know, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was ready to give up on us right away, but I mean, I forgot my own advice. We were gonna have a slow start. It was gonna be a work in progress, given having to rebuild the line and everything. But I don't know if it was our criticism or if Coach McCarthy finally started using his analytics and noticed that he studied so hard for in that year off, and noticed that we're like undefeated when we run the ball, but we finally started running the ball and we started winning games. Oh my God.
I mean, I think McCarthy knows what you're talking about because he said the target number is 30. So, I don't know what that magic number is. I know it's out there, but I know something like 125 rush yards. Dallas hasn't lost a game or something crazy like that. So yeah, I don't know why that wasn't the plan coming in. How many times all season did we say, "Yo, we got to lean on this run game"? That's just the way the Dallas Cowboys are going to have to win this year in general. That's how they quote unquote built their team, and now they're doing that.
Well,
and look what's going on.
I was going to say the reason why I always said stick with the run. I mean, you could see it in last night's game. Yeah, they ran successfully most of the game, but when they really started making big gashes was like fourth quarter. They started wearing the defense down, and Pollard's breaking through with 12-yard runs. Zeke's breaking through with big runs. You just kind of got to stick with it. And,
they had 125.
They
had 125 rush yards in the first half, and I think that was the most in the first half since 2017. So the run game was working just all night.
Right. All right. Well, I mean, as far as that number, here's what we can say. Well, it was the Giants, but
no,
they would have run against. They would have run against another team too. Maybe not to that degree, but they would have run. They would have still run.
Yeah, we ain't doing
and
that.
And that's why they were more successful. What helps?
We ain't doing this was the Giants. I don't give a damn who it was. I truly don't care. Because he stuck to it, and then he played off of that, and that's just what you have to do with this team.
Well, you know what? Last week is where I was really impressed with the run because time and it's all tight at the end. Instead of going all pass happy, they stuck with the run, and that's what I believe got us through and got us over that hump and got us that
Come on, last week?
In week 2. We had week 2.
Well, no,
I believe
last week it was Cooper Rush.
Huge.
They didn't run the ball at the end of the game.
No. I mean like the whole game, over the entirety of the game, because they had good bounce.
The Cowboys didn't score any points after the first quarter.
It's all right.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. The run wears them down. If you run them, you're wearing a defense down.
Okay.
Whether it's for passing or setting up play action or whatever it is.
Sure, yeah. I don't disagree with that.
Strategy of the run is to wear them down. Anyway, I'm just happy. Oh, dude, last night they said, all right, Peters is in. First play, right between Peters and Smith. What was it, like 25 yards?
No.
I was like, yeah, baby.
46 yards.
Yo, yes, that's right.
46 yards.
That's exactly right. And he had the ceiling block on the inside. I was like, yes.
Damn.
Yes. This is what we were waiting for. So I was really excited to see that and the remainder of the game. I just hope they can sustain this, and I hope they take this balanced offense into the playoffs because I feel like that's what's been killing us.
1 week at a time, man. We done been through this. We done been through this. Let's take this 1 week at a time, Shavance. 1 week at a time, man. Let's go ahead and celebrate this victory. Then we're gonna move on to the Washington football people, and we'll see where we're at in 12 weeks.
Don't go getting superstitious on me.
It ain't got nothing to do with superstitious. It ain't got nothing to do with it. This is. I don't know if you've been watching the shows, but I've been talking about. Hey, this is week to week. This is how we got to do this thing, week to week in this league, as you can see. And looking too far ahead will get you in trouble.
It can.
Appreciate the call, though, Vance.
Don't hurt me.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yep. Have a good one, guys. Stay up, Cowboys Nation. Peace.
Indeed. We got a couple super chats. Oh, not a couple. We got a lot of super chats. Let me get to them real quick. Let me hang them up right here. And boom. There we go.
Super chat.
King Element, the first super chat. Let me know why they were shading on Noah Brown like he was prime Calvin Johnson. Noah Brown didn't have the most targets, but he did 7. So and I think Wink probably went into that game like, hey, this is the guy that he connects with the most, right? Because backup played with Cooper Rush. Really, I think they came in the same year or something like that. So that's probably why they were shading him, but it got to come to a point where, hey, CeeDee Lamb is the one getting the rock. There we go.
Super chat.
Jeremy Parker said, let's talk about Jason Peters at left guard earlier in the stream. Absolutely, we did. I can't wait to go back and watch the tape, but that one run, if that showed me anything, I want to see the rest of the tape. I'm excited to see the rest of that tape.
Super chat.
Aaron said, y'all ever seen a 240-pound linebacker, 250, be engaged by a tackle and then run over a guard? Me neither. Micah, and he did it again to a running back. That's why I said I almost put Micah Parsons in my cookout at the grown folk table, because I know what he was dealing with, and he said he was only 60%. Dude put two people's children on the ground. The first one, the guard that he put on the ground, I think he surprised himself because he looked down like, oh, then got back up and tried to go to the quarterback. But Micah's a cyborg, man. He don't make any sense. He was created in a lab. He's the guy you make on Madden, 99 everything.
Super chat.
Peyton Hendershot is ready now, says Lemitra. Peyton Hendershot had that 29-yard gain. But I would slow down. He did have two bad penalties in the game, but he made up for it with that 29-yarder. But good showing overall, I think, for the rookies. They both had actually their hiccups in that game. But this is the first game, right? The first game they actually are playing with the lights on. But I'm looking forward to seeing more if we need to. We know we can win without Dalton Schultz. Another thing. Like, not only didn't you have Dak, you didn't have Dalton Schultz. You didn't have your left tackle. You didn't have Michael Gallup, which was a surprise. J-Ron Curse. I mean, man, Mike McCarthy, he gets these guys ready to play. Gotta give him his credit.
Super chat.
Eagles are trash. Where is the don't call him a clown, man. Where's the clown that said, oh wait, that is a clown, and I'm sorry. Where is the clown that said New York would put up 44? Who thought in their right mind that New York Giants would put up 44 points? I would have loved to make a bet with that dude. Come on.
Super chat.
Common Sense Lab with the donation says, first time we saw fight in Kellen Moore when he was yelling at refs or no call for Noah Brown.
Super chat.
Eagles are trash. You think we can keep Wilson and Curse on the field with Hooker not being sacrificed? Oh, for sure. I mean, that's the plan, right? They run the big nickel. That was going to be the case until J-Ron got hurt. You saw Marquise Bell get in the game. You saw Israel Mukuamu get in the game as everybody is trying to fill in for J-Ron Curse. When J-Ron Curse comes back, I think you're going to see Dono back in that kamikaze role back there just roaming while J-Ron plays the box more, where he's more of a secure tackler. I love Dono. He has some missed tackles. He also has some great plays. Dude, I love him. I call him D-hit. He going to hit you. He's physical. He's fast. He's aggressive. I love his attitude. I love what he brings to this defense. Sometimes he's going to do some goofy. Although I don't blame him on smacking the ball. I don't think he saw the referee. I think he thought dude was throwing the ball, so he smacked it. But he's also going to get you some late hits. Those things are going to happen. But, man, Donovan Wilson, J-Ron Curse, Malik Hooker was making tackles and wrapping up. Your first three safeties are fine. They're fine. And then last one until we get back to the phones. Special K.
Super chat.
They thought we was going to be 0-3 after week 3. Come on, man. But guess what, Sky? We still them boy. Listen. I'm gonna bring it back. What'd I say? Hey, set it off, Chris. After this Washington football, maybe I'll hold off to it. After the Rams game, if Dallas comes out on top of that game, try not to look too far ahead. Oh, we bringing back We Them Boys. Not the song, not the Wiz Khalifa dip. No. We bringing back my man. I forget his name, but we got to earn that back. Ham Zone 71 with a super chat.
Super chat. Says
they need to keep the same game plan even when Dak come back. 100%. 100%. All right. Back to the phone lines here. 972, what it do? It's Los. What am I talking about?
Good. I was gonna say you forgot me already. Good morning.
Go ahead, man. What's up?
Walker, man. Hey, let me tell you something. First, I only got two things to say, and I'll say it off my chest. What a great win. I hate the Giants, But it'll feel even better when we beat those Philly.
I'm
not trying to get too ahead.
You see, LT was a little salty. You see
Go
that? LT was a little bit salty.
Yeah.
He said.
Let me say this.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah. Let me say this real quick. Scott, that game you saw yesterday, was this the worst officiating game, like one way that you've seen it, or am I just tripping about that?
No,
because
it's just a normal Dallas Cowboys game to me.
It was a normal Cowboys game.
Normal Dallas Cowboys game. I told y'all I'm done. I'm done whining and crying over these referees. We're just not. We're just not going to get the calls that we all think we're going to get, no matter how blatant it is. I may say, "Oh, that was a bad missed call," or "How did you not see it?" And then I'm done with it. What's the point, Los? This has been for 20 years. But go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to complain about it.
No, I'm not telling you not to complain. I'm done complaining. You can. That's what the phone lines is for. Do your thing.
But I'm like, damn, some of these calls that they missed were outrageous, guy. Outrageous.
Cool,
and there's one play that they call on Hendershot, which was ticky tack, but to call that on us and to blatantly not call them, like them tackling a guy down to the ground, like that, I don't know. They got to fix that. And I don't know if it's a league thing or I don't know, but something has to give there. And I just hope as Cowboys, we keep overcoming that, and that's all I have to say about that. Now, my second thing.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care. Let me tell you, we don't care.
I ain't care, man. The referees. Go ahead.
To finish off, man, hey, CD, Rush, and Zeke, this offensive line as a whole has been solid all around. And yes, they didn't, we didn't push the ball first half like we wanted to, but second half, Kellen showed some promise. He utilized Tony. He utilized,
Shoot, CD Lamb dropped a goddamn 50-yard bomb. They pushed the ball. The score was 6-3 in that first half, and it should have been like 17-3. It was ridiculous, but hey, man, it happens.
Exactly. So, I have optimism that this offense is going to keep on clicking. Let's just hope we don't change anything, and let's keep on being the, I don't want to say this word, Scott, because it's scary, but let's keep on building this identity we have, and let's see what we go from there. Let's see where we go from there. Defense first, and let's help our defense and with our offense.
Indeed,
all right, peace, guys.
Appreciate you. He brought up something right there, the I word, which we what was our identity? We didn't know. Even in week 1, we didn't know what the hell we wanted to do. Clearly, you see something building. And I think it's important to stay with that identity because I think you saw Wink Martindale have to adapt to what they thought the Cowboys were going to do. They came out. I mean, I have to go back and look, but it seemed like they used a lot more heavy formations with their linebackers, something that they did in week 1 against Derrick Henry, obviously running team, as opposed to bringing in the big nickel. And I mean, it didn't work. But, I mean, I don't know the exact numbers, but it looked like that. I kept looking over and was like, it looked like they got more linebackers in the game than we thought they'd have. But that's why it's important to have that identity. Because guess what? Now I can do play action off of that, and I got these putrid linebackers trying to guard my tight ends that are athletic. Or I got a safety, trying to guard my slot receiver. Or I got one of those backers trying to guard one of the running backs in the backfield. Now, they weren't involved. They didn't get involved in the passing game, but nonetheless, that is an option you got there. And play action, you get a linebacker to step forward. These dudes ain't Micah Parsons. They're not recovering fast enough, and now you got a big giant window to throw into, and you just got to make it. If I'm not mistaken, I think that happened on one of the CD Lamb catches, and just a beautiful throw, allow CD Lamb to sit down, first down. You gotta have an identity, man. L said, what did LT say? So I don't know if this was after the game, but it looked like it was. LT's walking off the field. They ask him about Micah Parsons. He's salty. LT said, yeah, he played good, but let's see if he can keep it up for 13 years. Well, damn, LT. I mean, it's 17 games. Relax. They just want to know how you thought he played. Don't be mad because your Giants lost. Man. LT was, I ain't got time for this. Y'all made me come out here for this game where he only played at 60% and still was whooping on dudes. I think LT was mad. Let's see if he can do it for 13 games. Well, let's see if you can stay off the book. Let's get to James from Cali before I get in trouble. What's good?
Nah, that's all right. You ain't gonna get in trouble, man.
Hey, what you mean?
But no,
he's a little hater, man. I don't like that.
Hey, I'll stick it up for you. But hey, today's barbecue does smell kind of nice. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, I really like some of the points I was gonna touch on. I mean, you guys weren't discussing, but I'm gonna throw it out there anyway, just because that's kind of what I was gonna do. But yeah, CeeDee Lamb in the first half, man, Mr. Butterfingers, he's got to get that under control.
Oh my
because
gosh,
that
bro!
50-yard bomb could have been a touchdown. I think it could have been.
It could have been a touchdown. And then he dropped another one that could have got us in field goal range. I'm sitting here.
Exactly.
I think my man, I think Vach is in the chat. If everybody in the chat, y'all know how I feel. You know, when I did the whole. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you. I was like this just the whole time. Just come on,
Right.
CD, catch the ball, man. You making me
I
look
did the
stupid.
same thing when I was over at Chili's here in Nevada. I was doing the same shit. Like, oh my god! And then tackling Noah Brown in the end zone. It was blatant as hell. Excuse my language. I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss on the show, but dang, I'm blatant as hell. And isn't there like usually a back judge, usually right on the back side of the touchdown on the line there? I mean, how do you not see that? He was clearly tackled, Noah Brown,
James,
and we didn't get no flag.
James, what you think is gonna happen, dog? Like, we not getting.
That's the Cowboys. I know it's a double standard. We don't always get the calls, and it just is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, I know. I've been a Cowboy fan for 40 years. I know how that rolls, man. I just like to get a little salty every now and again and try to throw my hands up like, come on, man. I mean, I know it ain't going to happen, but you know what I mean? It's just retarded. But the other thing I was going to say is I don't know where you stood on this. I've forgotten. But as far as Jason Peters goes, if he plays like that at guard all the time, I'm cool with letting Tyler stay out at left tackle. Let's have Peters at guard. He looked good.
Well, I didn't know, I didn't see, but if he looked good, man, but I know that one play he looked good.
Oh, he did.
If he gonna do that shit, yeah, absolutely.
As soon as he came in, man, what was it? 46 yards TP wrapped up.
Very first play, man. Very first play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What I'm going
to like it, man.
Yeah,
anyway, that's all I pretty much got. A lot of my talking points were pretty much kind of took away, but hey, it is what it is, you know. But I just want to tell you, Sky, before I get off this phone, man, I really do. Out of all the YouTubers, I mean, for my favorites, you and Vach are my favorite too. I can't wait in the mornings for you to get on. I love how you analyze things and you spit it out there. It's easy for people to understand. I like it. I love it. I love the show, and I also love when you and Vach get together too. That's awesome.
Man, I appreciate that, James. You guys don't understand.
You're very welcome, man.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate you too.
Thank you.
You have a good day.
You too. Let me tell you something right now. Let me say this. I'm interested to see what it looked like with Jason Peters going to his right in the run game. If I'm sold on that, I'm sold. Only one game, but I'm sold. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't want it to be flipped, but that wasn't happening. Once we found out Jason Peters was going to be playing left guard, that's not happening anymore. Now let's see what this looks like. Tyler Smith is playing phenomenal ball out there at left tackle. Let's see what
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Jason Peters at 40 years old looks like at left guard going to his right. Because that was my main concern. When I watched him not only my main concern because he didn't play left guard, but when I watched his tape from last year, I came on here and told y'all I thought his pass blocking was great. I thought he didn't lose a step in his pass blocking. His run blocking, he clearly lost a step, and it was mostly trying to get in front of some of those three techs and walling them off and sealing them off or getting to the reach block. That's a big boy. That's a house. He don't play guard. So can he get to that step? Is he going to give up that leverage, give up that angle? I don't know. These are little intricacies. These are small things, but clearly he can do things to the left side, right? Like if you're running right behind him and he doesn't have to do that other stuff, I mean, you saw what happened. It looked fantastic. So why wouldn't I be a fan of something that worked? You know what I mean? Y'all love that Gundy clip, huh? All right, we got 1, 2, 3 callers left. Let's do it. 912, what it is, what it do?
What up, John?
Woo, what's goody, man? Make it quick, because I got, unless you got me on speaker, you want to take me off, because I can't. There's a lot of noise in that background.
All right, yeah, we talked about this yesterday, about the offensive line. And
Much
the
better,
defensive
much
line.
better.
They control the line, they win the game, right?
Yes, indeedy.
So I'm not even going to talk about the line, because I already knew if we control the line, we control the game. All right, so, but I want to talk about the others.
Who's your others?
People who ever played organized football, you understand that, like my offensive coordinator told me when I played quarterback in high school, it's easy to game plan against him, but it's not possible to game plan against them. So Turpin getting involved, getting the football in his hands, and knowing that, hey, I could do this in a regular season too, not just the preseason. Same thing with Hendershot. You know, he had his rookie mistakes, but he got the football in his hand, and he got to make a play. So, yeah, I'm not just a preseason player. I can do this in the season too. So I think for guys like Hendershot and Turpin, and obviously Noah Brown has been getting into action, we just need, the rookie third-round pick receiver from South Alabama to get the football in his hands and make a play too, and have the attitude like, I can do this in the season, not just the preseason.
Yeah,
and I think that's what's going to raise the Cowboys to a higher level. Because like my offensive coordinator told me in high school when I played QB, it's easy to game plan against him, but it's not possible to game plan against them. And so I'm excited to see the others get the football in their hands and make a play. That's all I have to say.
All right, man. Good call. I'm going to talk about that a little bit here in regards to Turpin. Appreciate you, man.
Yep.
Yeah. Kevontae Turpin, while he didn't touch the rock, he played 2 snaps week 1, 5 snaps week 2, 8 snaps week 3. Slowly but surely, he's getting more involved in that offense. Now I'm just waiting for him to pop one. Now, maybe what they're doing at this moment is saying, hey, we'll put that in the tuck. We don't necessarily need it. But so what I'm going to do, until proven otherwise, he ain't going to be on my X Factors no more. I done put him on my X Factors 2 times out of the first 3 weeks, and he hasn't really been used in that way. But I do think at some point this season, he will have one of those X Factor type of plays. Flat out. Well, yeah, so let me say this, Paul. Awesome return in this game again, by the way. He was a guy that was my X Factor. You know what? Maybe I should talk about the X Factor part because he was the X Factor in regards to returning. But to be fair, I was more so looking at him as a receiver as well. But he's that close to taking one to the crib. It's coming. It's definitely coming. And we talked about this earlier in the week. Might have been Friday or it might have been Monday. Late last week or early this week. The Giants gave up the 3rd most punt return yards, the 6th most kick return yards. For whatever reason, they short kicked it to Turpin. I thought it was hilarious. And it got lucky. He still had a good return. I think we got it about the 37-yard line. And then later in that game, they punted it to Turpin. Might have outkicked their coverage. And Turpin got a fantastic return. I bet you what's going to happen in that film room, though. Bones is going to give you some shit. Bones is going to be like, hey, Turpin, man, you got tackled by a punter, right? But that's good, right? That's friendly banter. Do that. So next week, when whoever their punter is for the Washington football people, it's in his head, I am not letting no punter take me down. It's coming. Turpin's going to get you a couple this year, y'all. 100%. He's going to get you a couple. Shout out to the chat, man. Y'all killing it. Over 700 people in here. Appreciate y'all, Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad!
We ain't even going to do a fan focus comment of the day. We just be all y'all. All y'all are part of the fan focus, man. Presented by Boston Scientific. Did you know, and you should by now, that diabetes, heart disease, and prostate cancer procedures can contribute to ED? Many men aren't aware of this or all of the treatment options that a board-certified urologist can offer. Understand your options and learn where you can find an ED specialist in your area. Visit edcure.org to get the facts and find a urologist who can work on a treatment option for you when others do not work. Again, edcure.org. I hate EDCure.org, sponsored by Boston Scientific. Can y'all stop? Just stop.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
In front of the millions
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
We'll do it live.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
Why do I keep doing this to myself? Y'all terrible, man. Y'all terrible. I swear. Anyway, what's up, y'all? If you just dropped in, we've been reviewing this entire game from top to bottom, just raw reactions to the Cowboys. 23-16 victory. They improved to 2-1. Phone lines are locked. We got like two more callers, and then we'll get to get back to this chat, man. Y'all something else, man. Sky's nephew looks great for his age. I swear, man. All right, let's get to 718 on the horn. What's good, 718?
What's good, Sky?
What's up with you?
So yeah, I'm trying to call it like I love the show. I love watching the show. I called in last week. I talked about the punt, the special teams and stuff. But this week,
yeah, you were.
I just want to know. I just want to know, where was Evan Neal drafted and where was Tyler Smith drafted? I can't really tell right now.
24th or whatever it was, and the other one, what, top 5, top 10? and it looks
Evan
like
Neal
it should be flipped.
Oh,
yeah.
Evan Neal got smoked all game. Tyler Smith was in there. He looked like he was the fifth pick in the draft. Like, that's honestly what I'm saying. Like, it's like night and day, and it's crazy that, like, I feel like the Cowboys they just know how to draft linemen. That's it. Like, they always gonna get their guy.
Facts.
It's always that. And then another thing I want to say, Turpin showed up again.
Again, I thought he was, bro. Was it you who called in about the special team stuff and was like, "Hey, where do they, where are the yards and all that stuff?" I promise you, right after that, I said,
hero,
right after that, I went on. I want to look up more of them and look up the yardage, and that's when I found out that the Giants were third worst, and that's why I made Turpin the X factor in that department, because I'm like, I mean, this might be the week. He almost did it last week against the Bengals, and he almost did it again. Eventually, we're going to say he ain't almost do it. He did it.
Yeah, eventually going to say, all right, so Turpin got like 5 by week 10, and then we're going to be like, all right, he's the weapon now.
If
like,
we get 5 by week 10, what's that? We're going to be 9-1.
I mean, it's going to happen. I feel like he's like the second coming of Devin Hester. Like, he just has to get that one break, and he's gone.
I agree with you.
Yeah. But yeah, this that. Like, the O-line, it looks great. Special teams looks great. Like, the special teams set up that touchdown for CD, so it's crazy. Like, it's all
they're playing
together, and I think it's
very complimentary. They're playing complimentary football very well. Maybe even better than they did last year.
More. He's calling some nice plays. Like, getting Hendershot open, getting CeeDee Lamb, Noah Brown. He's calling some. Hendershot got open. I was like, damn, that's a nice play.
Wide open. I mean, and you know what's great? I can't wait to go watch it. I've been asking for these type of situations, right? Where if you look at week 2, to be honest with you, the first 2 weeks, you saw a lot of contested catches, or you didn't see guys necessarily schemed open, or if they were, we just didn't hit it. And I was like, I think they're going to go back to the drawing board, back to the film room, and say, hey, we got a chance here to do X, Y, Z. In this game, you saw so many people just running wide open, and I thought it had a lot to do with how they schemed it up. Yeah. And then Cooper Rush delivered it right on the money. So everything just complemented each other. You had Kellen who dialed up the right play. You had the line who executed. You had Rush who delivered. And You should have had Lamb who caught one, but you had the receivers who also was catching the rock too. So from top to bottom, offensively, these guys were just in the zone.
I think it's that work that first week. Like they found out like nobody's getting separation, and now everybody's breaking free. Like they went back to the drawing board. Kellen Moore was like, "All right, so you got to run this route, want to tip this guy, you get wide open." Like it's like they just picked up on something. Like Kellen Moore like flipped the switch into all of them. Like all the wide receivers getting separation, all the wide receivers are doing their tipping and getting open.
I'm telling you, man.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm telling you, man. I think Mike McCarthy sat down and said, we got to simplify this thing. We don't need to be running double, triple reverses to open games. We don't need to do this and need to do that. Let's simplify this thing. He said, we have to talk about this play sheet and be smarter. And we haven't seen a trick play since.
Yeah, and like it's so hilarious. Like Kellen Moore, they're not dancing in the back in 10 yards in the backfield anymore. Like they're tossing out the TP. He's going for 30 yards.
Yep.
Like that's.
Let me tell you a play.
They're like, all right.
That, I mean, they had to have a lot of gonads in general in this game. In fourth down, they kept going for the fourth down. But third and 13 backed up on their 15-yard line or something like that. I have to go back and watch. Instead of running a draw, instead of running a screen, instead of falling into Wink Martindale's trap and dropping Cooper Rush back and trying to deliver it at that point in the game, I actually like them doing an action where they had the line blocking down right, and then they sent Tyler Smith out on a pull and said, Zeke, go follow this goddamn mountain, and he got you 13 yards. He used their aggressiveness against him. Very simple play, probably a play that we wouldn't like in general, but he used the aggressiveness against Wink and his boys and got Tyler Smith out there pulling, which, again, we talk about getting those boys out there pulling. Continue to do it. It works. And you got 13 or 15-yard gain, first down, keep it moving. Yeah, just a good call.
The thing about the Cowboys this year is Kellen Moore is not being predictable. Like they were like, oh, they're gonna run the ball. They're gonna pass the ball, and then they ran the ball. Oh, they're gonna run the ball and they pass the ball.
Man,
it's like
it was not predictable.
They're gonna pass this ball. They were like, it's 3rd and 13. Why are they gonna pass it? Like why are they gonna run the ball? They're like, oh shit, he ran the ball and he got the it was crazy. I was like, damn, like Kellen Moore was just
yeah.
But I'm gonna let you go because I'm kind of at work right now rapping and.
Oh, we don't want to get you fired, bro. We don't want to get you fired. You go talk your ish to your coworkers. Let them know Cowboys Nation.
But yeah, I love the show. I'm gonna try to call into watch the show too today.
All right.
Talk it there. It's the wait for a Roger show.
Trust me, I know. I appreciate y'all waiting, man.
But yeah, I appreciate y'all. Y'all are giving the content that we need. After every win, after we lost, you guys are always there. But yeah,
trying. All right, dog. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you too.
Yeah, man. It was I can't. As soon as I get off of this, I'm gonna eat something real quick, and I'm jumping right back into the lab, and we gonna dissect this thing. It's a lot of fun plays. I can't wait to talk about tomorrow. But just keep this mentality. Pack it up. Is it a home game? So we come back to Dallas. Pack it up. Bring this thing back at home, where hopefully they continue to trend up. Offense, granted, it's bit by bit. Points are trending up. Defense, points are trending down. We're way early in the week. We'll get to the Washington football people. But another opportunity to get some turnovers next week. But, man, Kellen, what can I say? That was just a really good call game. In fact, I felt like in that game, like how when I watch Miami or when I watch some other team that does all these cool things, and I'm like, man, why can't we copy that? We did some things, man. We did some things, and I hope they continue to do it. So shout out to Kellen. All right, one more call. We'll jump into the chat for a little bit, and then got to get it going. 3, 2, 1. What up, though?
What's up, Sky?
What's up with you?
So I want to say a few things because I know some people are, super excited about, the win and everything. But
gotta be. It's
I gotta
Tuesday.
tell you, man, yeah, I'm happy about a victory, but I'm also very disappointed with all the penalties. I'm disappointed with the big plays being called back, CeeDee Lamb dropping the ball too much.
Yeah.
Those things are things that need to be addressed and worked on. These things have been going on since last year and the year before, and it seems like it's a repeating thing. But on a high note, I think somebody who we don't give enough credit to, because I know we're always talking about Dan Quinn and Al Harris, Aiden Dirty doesn't get enough credit
that's
for
true.
what he's done with his defensive line.
Coach AD,
like,
yeah.
He is the unsung hero of the defense that nobody really even mentions anymore.
Here's the thing. I think the unsung hero is Joe Witt. The reason why I think people are I hate to use the word hesitant on AD, because shout out to Coach AD, like, don't get me wrong, is because Dan Quinn's main objective as a defensive coach is the defensive line. So he is directly working with these guys in the film room, on the field. So I think a lot of that credit goes to Dan Quinn, but I think some of that has to trickle down to AD as well. So let's go ahead and give AD some of his flowers too, man.
Yeah, and then also, I don't know if you've really been paying attention to it enough or anything like that, but LVE, he ain't been playing too bad this year. He's been playing better than he was last year, too. He's been a little more physical, sticking his nose in there, not running from contact, trying to go and push the pile. He's been jumping in the pile now.
He's still very much a catcher, but he's been much better at it. And when he doesn't have to worry about anybody in front of him, he's been straight lining to the ball carrier this year. Now, this game, again, I got to go back and watch the film. I didn't pay attention to LVE as much, so I can't give you my opinion on how he played. But yeah, I mean, the first 2 weeks of the season, there was some plays in week 1, but LVE, we had to shine a light on him in week 2 for sure. Maybe we'll shine the light on him again after, I go back and watch the tape. But I didn't hear his name. I guess that's a good thing. But it also could mean he wasn't making plays. I don't know. But doesn't seem like LVE has been a liability per se. And I think it has a lot to do with, I don't know if you watched the show the other day. I think Anthony Barr is a fantastic kind of yin to yang to LVE. When Jalen Smith was here, you had 2 dudes who was catching. You had 2 dudes who were hesitant. You had 2 dudes who really didn't want to smoke. Anthony Barr, while he didn't wrap up, we talked about you got to wrap up against Saquon Barkley, and Barkley ended up scoring a touchdown. Anthony Barr is sticking his nose in there first, right? And I think he's helping create for LVE to not have to get too dirty all the time. So I think they play off each other very well, but I got to go back and see how he played in this game.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that too now that you brought it up, because I forgot about that. That had Anthony Barr made the tackle in the hole, Saquon doesn't break.
He doesn't break nothing. Run. Yeah. He you got to wrap up. We talked about the other day, man. Wrap up, contain. That's all you got to do on Saquon. I'm not, no offense to Saquon Barkley, but it's not like he did anything special yesterday except for break that tackle, and then he hit the outside, and you didn't contain, right? Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker, you didn't fill in right, and boom, you get a touchdown.
Yeah, because Saquon, he's more of he's a small back mentality and a big back body. He doesn't run like he's supposed to. Like, I promise you this, if he ran more like Zeke, he would be a better running back. If he ran more like, let me get between these tackles, hit the hole, he's always looking to try to bounce it back and spin and stuff like that. Like, sometimes as a power back and a big back, you got to learn how to go and take what you can get. And that's what I was very proud of Zeke last night. He took what he can get, and Kellen Moore called a toss play on the right time. Finally, he called a toss play at the right time.
Man,
on that third down that Tyler Smith led Zeke on.
Yep, I was just talking about that. 3rd and 13. I mean, I could be jumping the gun. Again, this is raw reactions. I haven't even watched the regular view, right? I come on here. I like doing this before I go look. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is top 3 called games for Kellen Moore. Top 3.
Yes. Yeah. And honestly, I would like to see, because this is my last point, I would just like to see Kellen Moore keep utilizing the run game and keep being more creative.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be against him trying to be more like Kyle Shanahan when it comes to the run game.
Yes.
Use it and don't lose it.
I'm with you, man. Appreciate the call. Good call, man.
Yes, sir.
And that'll do it for today's Pulse of the Nation, presented by the Cochran Firm. 1-800-THE-FIRM. Hey, Tariq, don't kill me, man. I haven't went back and watched LVE. He said, I think Reese said, stop it, man. LVE sucks or something along those lines. Where'd it go? He said, get out of here, Sky. LVE sucks. He cannot shed no blocks. I mean, it's true. He can't shed blocks. But Reek.
Let's be nice. Yeah. Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it. I mean, good Lord.
Relax. I don't know how LVE played. I didn't go back and watch, man. But within the first 3 weeks, I don't know if he's been a liability. He has on certain plays. A lot of people have on certain plays. Let's be nice. No, I'm just playing. I'll go back and look, but y'all know me. I've always been eager and antsy for an upgrade in week 3. What y'all think? Week 5? Maybe week 6? I'm not ready to see Anthony Barr take over that role and then bring in Jabril Cox and see what we got more from an athletic standpoint, from a different standpoint. I don't know if we're there just quite yet, but I feel like Anthony Barr, Micah Parsons, and Jabril Cox's potential for the playmaking level to rise. So we'll see. I'll go back and look. But let's be nice. Let's be. All right, we got any more super chat before I get up out of here? I got you. Nope, we good. We good on the super chats. All right, y'all. What y'all want to talk about here on the way out? We got about 5 minutes, if that. I don't know if I'm be able to hold that dang on long. Jabril was dressed last night. Jabril was dressed for special teams purposes because of what's the cat's name, y'all? I'm having a brain fart now. Luke Gifford. Luke Gifford was out with the hamstring, so that's why Jabril was dressed. But if LVE, Micah, or even Jabril might not even get no ticket if Luke Gifford's playing. But if LVE, Micah, or Anthony Barr are not injured, you probably won't see Jabril Cox out there. You probably won't. Satellite Sunny says, Sky, 3 weeks, 3 touchdowns allowed. This defense is there, man. This defense, coming into the season, it felt like it was a championship defense. It was always about, can the offense, I don't need it to repeat. Like that wasn't going to happen given the situation. But I need it to be, find itself. And when can it find itself? And maybe it's finding itself early as opposed to late. Will said we needed Cox to stop Daniel Jones last night. Well, you noticed, I don't know how late they decided to make this change, but Donovan Wilson started to spy Daniel Jones and almost took that man's head off, man. Almost took his head off. Shout out to you, TC915. He said, I want to talk about how we don't have 700 likes. Come on, guys. Hey, listen, if you're enjoying this show, this raw reaction after the Cowboys victory, please do me a favor. Hit that like button. I appreciate that. Fresh says Sam will get his first sack next week. Busy said, what do I think about Israel Mukuamu? I pointed him out when he came in yesterday, but I'd be lying to you if I said I was focused on him. But we'll go back and watch. Again, week 1, I think he had a couple snaps, looked fine. Week 2, same thing. So looking like we got a nice little safety group. Already was confident in those first 3. And then Izzy and Bell showed us something in the preseason, but we knew they weren't going to get too much tick unless somebody got hurt. Suge Midnight. This is interesting because Devin Harper could be that athletic middle linebacker if you're not going to put Micah Parsons in the middle, which I would put Micah Parsons in the middle. We'll have a conversation. I'll go look at him, but I don't want to be the anybody but. Shout out to Vach. I don't want to be the anybody but guy for LVE. But I like athletic backers, man. I like backers that ain't scared of the smoke. I like backers that has potential to be playmakers. And Harper, while he's a rookie, I wouldn't mind seeing what's up. Not saying he has to play there all game, but getting some snaps. Yes, indeed, Professor O. I can't wait to go watch Big Bo. Bars. We gave Big Bo a plate last week, and immediately out the gate, he made a difference early in that game. Dealing with the next situation, but he is unsung heroes. Again, I don't know. We'll go back and watch, but unsung heroes early in this season so far, Quentin Bohanna has to be up there. He has to be up there. Yeah, they got him for that flag, Paul. That was whack. Yes, Rodnell says Sky upgrade is coming with Clark. Next, the way I came in this year about the linebacker group prior to them getting Anthony Barr will be completely flipped next year. If Damone Clark comes back, he's fine. He checks out fine. Jabril Cox, Micah Parsons, Devin Harper. This group is ridiculously athletic, and Damone Clark can be that middle linebacker guy. But that's another discussion. That's next year. Tonio, so do I think Tyler needs to go back to guard? I got to go watch the tape on Jason Peters, but if Jason Peters looked like he looked on that first play and in pass blocking, right, and I want to see how he moves right, listen, I know it's one game, but I might have seen enough, Tonio. But the best 5 until going up into that game was, I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. I wanted to see left tackle who played like an all-pro left tackle or Pro Bowl left tackle, be at left tackle, and slide Tyler in that guard. Here's the thing: what I'm learning about Tyler Smith. I don't think it really matters where you put him. Some people just that good. I think Tyler Smith at left guard, Tyler Smith at left tackle, Tyler Smith at right tackle. I just think he'd be that good of a player. Now, will you have some hiccups? That happens. He's a rookie. It's going to happen. But Tyler Smith has far exceeded expectations from a left tackle standpoint. And there was always two sides to the argument that you can make. Development versus best 5. Now the best 5 just looks funky because you're putting the left tackle at left guard and not the other way around. You're kind of got the best of both worlds here now if he pans out to be a left guard. And hell, they might put McGovern back in there. But you got the best of both worlds because now Tyler can still develop like a lot of people want him to. And technically your best 5's out there. It's just not the way you would imagine. Conventional wisdom would be to put the left tackle where he's at. But he got 14 snaps. I'm going to watch all 14 of them. And honestly, man, if we check out, if he checks out, if he's, he's 40. What I'm looking at here.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
He's 40. We talked about it in pregame. Let's see what he got. Give him some reps. I don't like the whole in and out thing. That's not really. I'm not a fan of that. But they did it. So let's go review it and rip the Band-Aid off, right? Like, don't play around with this next week. Rip it off. Throw Peters in there, and let's see what he can do for a full game, so we can have the data, and then they can decide, do we put McGovern back in? It's so funny because at first it was, hey man, listen, if we have to have this conversation, it's a good thing about Tyler Smith. Now it's, hey man, if we have to have this conversation about McGovern going back in, it's a good thing about Jason Peters. Not ideal, but it is what it is. Of course, I love that drop. Hope that answered your question there, Tonio, whatever the name was. I'm sorry. He's a swing left side. That's hilarious. Yeah, man. I'm hating that. Stay off that booger sugar. All right. Good morning after reaction show, y'all. Do me a favor on the way out. Hit that like button. We'll get Mauricio Rodriguez on later tonight to review the game as well. A to Z Sports Primetime. I will be back later about 3-ish. Shout out to the 3-ish Mafia on the Vosh Lombardi live show on the volume and on Vosh Lombardi's channel, by the way. Check me out. Ride shotgun with my guy Voch. We'll be celebrating. Probably bring out the chain. Probably bring out the glasses. We'll be celebrating, And then tomorrow, check me back out in the morning. I'm going to try to break out the film. We'll look at some of my favorite plays from this game. And you might see me getting my nerd bag, but we're going to have a good time with it as we always do, man. So I appreciate y'all for being here. I have to use the bathroom. This is crazy. I got to touch this button, man. But be in trouble. Appreciate y'all, man. Hey, if you want to know where to find me, just look at the DFW turf ticker, the #1 artificial turf in the DFW area. Follow me on Twitter at Skywalker Still. I will see y'all later and give my guy Mo some love later on tonight too. We out here.